The storm raged outside, lightning illuminating the darkened room as I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the glowing screen of my laptop. The air was thick with tension, each crack of thunder reverberating through the walls, matching the rhythm of my heartbeat. I had been scrolling aimlessly through social media when an email notification popped up, its subject line chilling me to the bone: "We need to talk." I felt my stomach drop. I clicked it open, and as I began reading, the world around me faded, leaving only his cold, impersonal words echoing in my mind. "Clara, I can't do this anymore. It's over. I'm sorry." My breath hitched, and I reread the lines, hoping they would somehow change, that it was all a cruel joke. But the truth settled in like a heavy fog: Oliver was leaving me. 3 months into what was supposed to be our forever, he had decided it was done. I felt a sharp pain in my chest, as if someone had driven a dagger through my heart. How could he? After everything? I whispered to myself, tears streaming down my cheeks. My thoughts raced back to our wedding day, the way he'd looked at me with such adoration, the promises he had made. Had they all meant nothing? The dreams we had woven together were now nothing more than frayed threads, scattered in the wind. I slammed my laptop shut, the sound echoing in the silence of the house. I needed air. I needed to escape the reality that was closing in on me. I grabbed my coat and stepped outside, the rain pouring down as if the heavens themselves were weeping for my broken heart. The cold droplets stung my skin, but I welcomed the chill. It was a distraction, a momentary reprieve from the warmth of the pain inside me. I wandered the rain-soaked streets, each step feeling heavier than the last. I passed familiar storefronts, their lights blurred through the cascading water, and memories flooded my mind. I could almost hear the laughter we shared, the plans we made for our future. But now, those plans felt like a cruel joke. "Clara, it's going to be amazing," I could hear him say, his voice filled with excitement. I clenched my fists, anger bubbling beneath the surface. "Why, Oliver? Why would you do this?" I shouted into the storm, my voice swallowed by the wind. The empty streets offered no answers, only the sound of my heart breaking further. I thought of all the little moments, the way he used to brush my hair back when I was upset, the nights we spent wrapped in each other's arms, talking about everything and nothing. How had it come to this? As I turned a corner, the rain intensified, soaking me to the bone. I felt lost, aimlessly wandering through the memories that now felt like a haunting echo of what could have been. I was soaked, both from the rain and the tears that continued to fall. My phone buzzed in my pocket, but I didn't want to see who it was. All I could think about was Oliver, and the betrayal that cut deeper than any storm. Finally, I found myself back at my apartment, the door creaking as I stepped inside. The warmth of the room felt foreign, empty without him. I sank onto the couch, my mind racing. I couldn't just let this happen. I wouldn't. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed again, and I glanced at the screen. It was Sophie, my best friend. "Clara, where are you? I'm worried." I took a deep breath, typing back, "I'm home." "It's over, Sophie. He left me." Within minutes, there was a knock at the door. It swung open, and Sophie rushed in, concern etched on her face. "Oh, Clara. I'm so sorry. I can't believe he would do this to you." I felt the dam inside me break, and I burst into tears. "I thought he loved me, Sophie. I thought we were happy." She knelt beside me, wrapping her arms around my shoulders. "You're not alone in this. We'll figure it out together." As I leaned into her embrace, I felt a flicker of determination ignite within me. I wouldn't just sit back and let him walk away. I would uncover the truth behind his betrayal, and I would reclaim my life. As I stood in our sparsely decorated living room, Oliver's phone lay on the coffee table, obliviously glowing with notifications. My heart thudded in my chest as I wrestled with the moral implications of what I was about to do. 3 months ago, I would have trusted him blindly, but now, betrayal seeped into every corner of my mind. I glanced at the clock, he wouldn't be back for another hour. Without thinking too hard, I reached for the phone, my fingers trembling with a mix of fear and determination. The screen unlocked easily, a testament to his lack of caution. My breath hitched as I navigated through his messages, each ding of the notification sending shivers down my spine. It felt wrong, so wrong, but the need for answers clawed at me. I found a thread that stood out, messages from another woman. My pulse quickened as I read the flirty exchanges, the sweet nothings that felt like daggers piercing through my heart. "Can't wait to see you tonight," one message read, followed by a series of heart emojis. My stomach churned. The words echoed in my mind, taunting me. Tonight. Did he plan to be with her? I couldn't shake the image of him sharing laughter and intimacy with someone who wasn't me. Each new message felt like a confirmation of my worst fears, and a fire ignited within me. Suddenly, the front door creaked open. Panic gripped me, and I hastily tossed the phone back onto the table, feigning disinterest as Oliver stepped in, oblivious to my turmoil. He greeted me with a casual smile, as if nothing had changed. "Hey, babe. How was your day?" he asked, his tone light and carefree. I forced a smile, my heart racing. "It was fine," I replied, my voice steady despite the chaos inside me. "Just cleaned up a bit." "Good to hear," he said, moving toward the kitchen. I followed him, my mind racing with thoughts of what I had just discovered. How could he act so normal? Did he not realize he was living a lie? "So, what's for dinner?" he asked, rifling through the fridge. "Something simple," I replied, trying to keep my voice even. The anger bubbled beneath the surface, threatening to spill over. "I was thinking of making that pasta you like." "Sounds great," he replied, completely unaware of the storm brewing within me. I couldn't hold back any longer. "Oliver," I started, my voice trembling slightly. "Can we talk?" He turned to face me, his brow furrowing. "Sure, what's up?" I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. "I know about her," I said, my voice firmer than I felt. The silence that followed was deafening. His expression shifted from confusion to alarm, and I could see the wheels turning in his mind. "What do you mean?" he asked, feigning ignorance. I stepped closer, feeling the heat radiating from my anger. "The messages, Oliver. The woman you've been texting." I saw everything. His facade cracked for just a moment, and I could see the panic flash in his eyes. "Clara, let's not jump to conclusions," he said, his tone shifting to one of condescension. "Jump to conclusions?" I spat. "You think I'm making this up?" "I deserve the truth, Oliver. You owe me that much." He straightened, his posture rigid. "Clara, you have to understand." "Understand what?" I interrupted, my voice rising. "Understand that you've been lying to me? That you've been unfaithful? How can you even stand there and act like this is okay?" He opened his mouth to respond, but I could see he was searching for words. It was as if the man I thought I knew was unraveling right in front of me. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Didn't mean for it to happen?" I echoed incredulously. "That's not an excuse. You made a choice, Oliver." I felt a wave of release as I poured out my feelings, each word a step toward reclaiming the power he had stripped from me. "You think you can just walk away from this? You think I'll just sit back and let you get away with it?" His face paled, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in his eyes. "Clara, please, don't." "Just don't," I said, cutting him off. Anger surged through me, a strength I hadn't realized I possessed. I was done being the victim in this story. The game had just changed, and I was ready to fight back. After a long pause, I stepped back, my heart racing. "You'll see," I whispered, not fully understanding the path I was about to embark on. But deep down, I knew I was ready to reclaim my life, no matter what it took. The air in the small coffee shop felt charged, heavy with unspoken words and lingering resentment as I waited for Oliver to arrive. My hands trembled slightly around the warm cup, the steam curling up like my thoughts, swirling and chaotic. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, echoing the anger and betrayal that had been festering since the day he walked out. When Oliver finally entered, he looked nonchalant, as if he were merely dropping by to chat about our day-to-day lives. I felt a surge of rage at his casual demeanor. He sauntered over to me, a smirk dancing on his lips, and I stood up, glaring at him. "Clara, hey. Good to see you," he said, feigning surprise as he slid into the chair across from me. "Is it?" I shot back, unable to mask the bitterness in my voice. "You have some nerve showing up, Oliver." His smirk faded, and I could see the annoyance flicker across his face. "Come on. Can't we just talk like adults?" "Talk like adults?" I repeated incredulously. "You think this is just a casual conversation? You destroyed my life, and you want to sit here and act like nothing happened?" "I didn't destroy anything," he replied, his tone dismissive. "You're overreacting, Clara. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry if it didn't work out the way you wanted it to." I leaned forward, my heart racing with indignation. "A mistake? You took everything from me, our joint account, our future. You didn't just walk away, you left me with nothing. You think that's just a mistake?" He rolled his eyes, his arrogance seeping through. "You'll get over it. You're strong. You'll find someone else." The audacity of his words made me want to scream. "Someone else? You think I want someone else? I want the truth, Oliver. I deserve to know why you did this." Oliver leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms as he studied me. "You really want to go down this road? You're just going to embarrass yourself." "Embarrass myself?" I felt my fists clench in anger. "You don't get to turn this around on me. I want answers. I want to know if she meant anything to you." He hesitated, and for a brief moment, I saw a flicker of something, guilt, perhaps? But it vanished as quickly as it appeared. "It was nothing serious. Just fun. You and I were having problems long before that." "Problems?" I echoed, incredulous. "You mean your lies? Your cheating?" "Clara, it was just a fling. Can't you see that? You're making something out of nothing." "Nothing?" I scoffed. "You think I'll just sit back and let you dismiss my pain like it's a trivial thing? I'm not that naive girl anymore. I know what you are, and I won't let you get away with this." As I spoke, I could feel a fire igniting within me. I was done being the victim, and I wouldn't let him belittle my experience. I could see the surprise on his face as he realized I wasn't backing down. "I'll find out everything about you, Oliver," I said, my voice steady with determination. "You won't get away with this. I will expose you for who you really are." He laughed, a harsh sound that grated against my nerves. "Expose me? You think anyone will believe you over me?" "They will," I said, my voice low but unwavering. "You've hurt too many people. And I'm just getting started." With that, I stood up, leaving him sitting there, stunned. As I walked away, adrenaline coursed through my veins. I felt powerful, almost liberated. I had taken the first step toward reclaiming my life, and it felt exhilarating. When I got home, I reached for my phone and dialed Mark's number. He picked up on the second ring, sounding hesitant. "Clara? Is everything okay? I need to talk to you, Mark. It's about Oliver." "Okay, I'm listening. I need information, anything you can give me about his past. I'm ready to fight back, and I need to know his patterns, his history. This isn't just about me anymore. I want to make sure he can't hurt anyone else." There was a brief silence on the line. "You're serious, aren't you?" "Dead serious," I replied, my voice firm. "I'm not going to let him walk away unscathed. I need your help." All right, I'll help you, he said, and I could hear the resolve in his voice. Let's meet tomorrow. I'll tell you everything I know. Thank you, Mark, I said, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. I'll see you then. As I hung up, I felt a surge of determination. I was no longer a heartbroken woman, I was a force to be reckoned with. And I would make sure Oliver regretted the day he chose betrayal over love. I walked into the support group meeting, my heart pounding in my chest. The room was small, filled with a handful of women seated in a circle, each face telling its own story of heartbreak and betrayal. I hesitated at the door, my fingers nervously fidgeting with the hem of my sweater. But as I scanned the room, I noticed the warmth in their eyes, the unspoken bond that connected us all in our shared pain. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. Welcome, a woman with kind eyes greeted me, her voice soothing. I'm Sarah, and I'm so glad you're here. I found a seat in the circle, feeling the weight of my emotions pressing down but also a flicker of hope igniting within me. As each woman began to share her story, I listened with rapt attention. There were tales of deceit, shattered dreams, and the arduous journey of healing. I could see pieces of my own story mirrored in theirs, and for the first time since Oliver left, I felt a sense of belonging. I thought I knew him, one woman said, her voice trembling. He seemed perfect, and then he just vanished with everything I had. I could relate. My own voice echoed in my head, Oliver's cold words from that email, the way he had swept away our life together as if it had never mattered. As the meeting progressed, I felt my resolve strengthen. These women were not just victims, they were warriors in their own right. By the time the session ended, I found myself exchanging numbers with a few of them, promising to keep in touch. I left the meeting feeling lighter, empowered, like I was no longer just Clara, the heartbroken bride, but Clara, a woman determined to fight back. The next day, I sat at my kitchen table, the morning sun streaming through the window as I mapped out my plan. With Sophie's help, I had already begun gathering information about Oliver's recent activities. Now it was time to take the next step. I reached out to his new partner, a woman named Liz, through social media. My heart raced as I typed out a message, unsure of how she would react. Hi, Liz. I hope this message finds you well. I know this is unexpected, but I feel it's important for you to hear from me. I was married to Oliver just a few months ago, and I think you deserve to know the truth about him. I hit send, my palms sweating. Would she believe me? Would she even care? Days passed, and I anxiously checked my phone, waiting for a response. In the meantime, I continued to gather evidence against Oliver, collecting messages from the other women who had reached out to me. His pattern of manipulation was becoming clearer, and with every piece of information I uncovered, my confidence grew. Then, the moment I had been waiting for arrived. Liz responded. I appreciate you reaching out, Clara. I'd like to hear more about what you know. Can we meet? My heart raced with both excitement and fear. This was my chance to expose Oliver for the man he truly was. As the day of our meeting approached, I felt a mix of nerves and adrenaline coursing through me. I arrived at the cafe early, sitting at a table in the corner, my thoughts racing. What if Liz didn't believe me? What if Oliver found out? I shook my head, pushing away the doubt. I was done being a victim. When Liz walked in, I recognized the determination in her stride. She approached my table, her expression a mix of curiosity and wariness. Clara, she said, offering a tentative smile. I nodded, gesturing for her to sit. Thank you for meeting me, I began, my voice steady despite the butterflies in my stomach. I wanted to talk to you because I care about what happens next. Oliver has a history of deceit, and I believe it's crucial for you to know the truth. Liz listened intently as I recounted my experience, sharing the messages I had uncovered and the stories of other women who had suffered at his hands. With each detail, I could see her skepticism begin to fade, replaced by a growing realization. I had no idea, she finally said, shaking her head in disbelief. He seemed so genuine. He's charming, isn't he? I replied, my heart aching for her. But he's also dangerous. I want to help you avoid the pain I went through. Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Mark flashed on the screen. Clara, I think Oliver knows what you're up to. My stomach dropped. I looked up at Liz, who was still processing everything I had shared. Things are about to get complicated, I said, my voice low. He's not going to let this go easily. Liz's eyes widened, and I could see the fear beginning to surface. What should we do? I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. We stand together. We won't let him manipulate us anymore. As I said those words, I felt a surge of determination. This was not just about me anymore, it was about both of us reclaiming our lives from the man who had tried to tear us down. Oliver had no idea what was coming for him. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows as I stood in front of a cafe, my heart racing with anticipation. I had spent the last several weeks gathering evidence, connecting with other women like me who had felt the sting of betrayal at the hands of Oliver. Today, we were to meet, a small group of us, united by our shared experiences, determined to confront the man who had caused so much pain. As I entered the cafe, I spotted Sophie at a corner table, her face lighting up when she saw me. Clara. Over here, she called, waving me over. I took a deep breath and walked toward her, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement coursing through me. Are you ready for this? Sophie asked, her voice low but filled with encouragement. I think so, I replied, glancing around the cafe. It's just. I never thought I'd be in a situation like this. Confronting him like this feels surreal. Sophie reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You've worked too hard to let doubts creep in now. You have the truth on your side. The cafe buzzed with chatter as our small group began to gather. There were 3 other women, Michelle, a fiery brunette with piercing green eyes, Laura, who appeared soft-spoken but had a fierce determination beneath her gentle exterior, and Jenna, a single mother whose story of loss and betrayal tugged at my heartstrings. We exchanged stories, our shared pain weaving a bond that felt unbreakable. As the time to confront Oliver approached, I felt a surge of empowerment. It was time to expose him, not only for my own healing but for all the women he had hurt. What if he tries to dismiss us? Jenna asked, her voice trembling slightly. He won't be able to, I assured her, my voice steady. We have proof. We won't let him manipulate us again. With our hearts pounding in unison, we decided to head to the park where Oliver often jogged. It was a public space, and I wanted to confront him in front of people, to ensure he couldn't wriggle out of this. As we approached, I spotted him in the distance, jogging alongside his new partner, a woman who had no idea of the monster he truly was. Here he comes, I whispered, my stomach twisting into knots. The women beside me nodded, their expressions a mix of fear and solidarity. Oliver spotted me first, his jog slowing to a halt as he recognized my face. Clara, he called, a smug grin plastered on his face. What are you doing here? Surprise! I shot back, crossing my arms defiantly. I gestured toward the women beside me. We have something to discuss. His partner looked confused, glancing between us. What's going on? She asked, her brow furrowing. I took a step forward, my heart pounding but my resolve unwavering. Oliver, you need to know that I'm not the only one you've hurt. These women here have stories of your betrayal, just like mine. The lies, the deceit. He scoffed, dismissing my words with a wave of his hand. Oh, come on, Clara. You're just bitter. This is pathetic. Pathetic? Michelle piped up, stepping forward with a fierce look in her eyes. You think we're here because we want to be? We're here because you've caused pain for too many people, and it's time for you to face the consequences. The crowd around us began to take notice, eyes shifting toward the unfolding drama. I could feel the tension in the air, a collective curiosity about the confrontation. I took a deep breath, determined to stand my ground. Your arrogance has blinded you, Oliver, I said, my voice steady. You think you can just walk away from your actions without any repercussions. But we have proof. We know about the women you've manipulated, the lies you've spun. His face paled slightly, but he quickly masked it with anger. You're making a mistake, Clara. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. No, I countered, the mistake was marrying you, believing you could ever be a good man. But I've learned. I've learned about your past, and it's time everyone else does too. As I pulled out my phone, ready to show the messages and evidence I had gathered, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. This wasn't just about me anymore, it was about every woman he had hurt, every lie he had told. Oliver's facade was crumbling, and I was ready to expose the truth. Do you really think you can control the narrative anymore? I asked, my voice rising above the murmurs of the onlookers. You're not the victim here. We are. Oliver's arrogance faltered for the first time, and I could see the realization dawning on him. He opened his mouth to respond, but the words failed him. The tables had turned, and for once, I felt powerful, like I was reclaiming everything he had taken from me. As I stood there, the world around me felt surreal. My heart raced when I recognized the woman standing beside Oliver. It was Mia, one of my closest friends from the wedding. How could this be happening? My skin prickled with disbelief as I remembered her laughter, the way she danced with joy on that special day. Now, she stood next to him, looking at me with wide eyes, mirroring my confusion and pain. I felt a strange mix of solidarity and betrayal wash over me. Mia! I shouted, my voice trembling. You too? Did you know? She shook her head, her expression shifting from shock to anger. I had no idea, Clara. He told me you two were having problems, that it was over. He made it sound so convincing. What a liar he is. I spat, my anger boiling over. He cleared out our joint account and left me with nothing. I thought I was the only one he had betrayed. As our eyes locked, I saw the flicker of realization in her gaze. We were both victims of the same man, caught in his web of deceit. We need to confront him, she said, her voice steadying. Together. He can't keep getting away with this. I nodded, feeling a surge of empowerment wash over me. It was time to expose him for who he truly was. We turned to face Oliver, who had been watching this exchange with a smug expression, as if he hadn't a care in the world. I could see the surprise flicker across his face as he realized the gravity of our alliance. Mia, it's not what you think, he began, his voice dripping with false charm. Clara is just upset. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I stepped forward, fueled by every ounce of pain and betrayal I had endured. No, Oliver. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You think you can manipulate us both and get away with it? You've played with my heart, and now you've dragged Mia into your lies. Mia joined me, her voice rising. You're nothing but a coward. You lied to both of us, and now it's time for everyone to see the real you. The crowd that had gathered started to murmur, intrigued by the escalating confrontation. I could feel their eyes on us, and with every passing moment, I felt stronger. Oliver's facade of confidence began to crack as he realized the tide was turning against him. What's wrong, Oliver? Afraid of the truth? I taunted, my voice steady. You can't charm your way out of this one. He opened his mouth to retort, but the words caught in his throat. I pressed on, feeling the weight of my journey come to a head. You've taken everything from me, but you will not take my dignity. Not now, not ever. As I spoke, I noticed several women from the support group I had attended, their faces appearing in the crowd. They had come to support me, and their presence filled me with courage. I could see in their eyes that they understood my pain, and that we were all united in a fight against betrayal. Oliver's bravado crumbled. You're making a mistake, Clara, he finally said, desperation creeping into his voice. You'll regret this. Regret? I laughed, the sound bitter on my lips. I regret marrying you, but I will not regret standing up for myself. You're going to face the consequences of your actions, and I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. The crowd began to whisper, and I could feel their judgment raining down on him. Oliver was no longer in control, the power had shifted. I glanced at Mia, and we shared a knowing look. Together, we were stronger than we had ever been apart. As the confrontation reached its climax, I felt a profound sense of liberation. I was no longer the heartbroken woman who had been left to pick up the pieces. I had transformed into a force to be reckoned with, a woman who would no longer tolerate deceit. In the aftermath, as Oliver slinked away, defeated and exposed, I turned to Mia. "Thank you for standing with me," I said, my voice softer now, filled with a newfound warmth. She smiled through her tears. "We're in this together now. No more lies." With the weight of betrayal finally lifted, I felt ready to embrace my future. No longer defined by Oliver's actions, I had found my strength and my voice. I was Clara, a woman reborn, and I was ready to reclaim my life.